Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Facebook Live. I'm Kwon. Don't forget, before we get started here, you can watch and listen to this live stream later throughout the day on our InForum YouTube channel, or you can always do the same on your favorite podcast platform as well. Also, just a reminder, you can visit inforum.com/podcasts and look for the InForum Minute to find it there as well. All right, let's get into things right away. We know today a Fargo man that is accused of shooting a woman at an apartment and then running away from police right after that incident. He could be avoiding a trial. We're talking about Oliver Ty. He's facing 3 charges, including attempted murder right now. Court documents say that he shot at Ophelia Quay a number of times. No, she was seriously hurt, but she's okay, and she survived. So Ty could get up to 20 years in prison still on that attempted murder charge alone, even if he does plead guilty. And then another man involved in that same shooting, Jerome Kwon, was already sentenced in January to 7 years in prison. Also today, us here at WDAY is expected to ask Fargo police, Fargo firefighters, workers at Fargo Cast Public Health about this recent string of opioid overdoses, and 3 of them were actually deadly. So we saw an alert that was put out by police yesterday, and it says that 2 of those deaths happened on Saturday. Well, then on Monday, you fast forward there, and they got 2 more calls regarding something very similar. For those Monday calls, we did learn that one person was able to get the treatment they needed, and that person survived. The other person did not survive. And according to police, they're saying that these overdoses are likely connected to what's called M30 pills, even though they're, of course, still waiting for their toxicology results. So we'll have that update for you in our evening newscast tonight on WDAY, but wanted to let you know that we are expecting more information from all of them today. Also today, you can help raise money for a Fargo South student who is battling cancer. She's actually going through cancer treatments right now, including chemotherapy, radiation. Her name is Clara Machenbacher, and she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma back in May. So she has a Caring Bridge site that's up right now where you can freely just donate, of course. But we actually wanted to point you ahead to some events going on today, specifically for Clara. So Fargo South and Fargo Davies cross-country teams are going to be holding a car wash, and they'll also even have a bake sale fundraiser. So that's going to be from noon to 6 p.m. today at the Family Fair store, which is just off of 25th Street South. So for those of you who live in Fargo, maybe you're passing through that area, stop by and get your car washed and go to the bake sale, and you can help a student who's battling cancer. Okay. Also today, it's FM Pride. FM Pride is kicking off their celebrations today, and there's so many ways that you can take part in their celebrations. So tonight in Fargo, there's going to be family skate night for the whole family starting at 6:30. That's going to be taking place at Skate City. And then later tonight downtown, there's LGBT trivia and karaoke, which is going to be at Rhombus Guys. And then there's Pride Vinyl Night at Front Street Tap Room. So all of those, or both of those events start tonight at 8. They're only for people ages 21 and older. And all of today's events are free. Now, of course, we have the big celebrations coming this weekend. So things like the 5K and the block party and the parade. Some of those events are 21 and up. And some of those will even cost you a few bucks. So make sure you check before you head out there. And you can find a full list of all the events for this year's Pride at fmpride.com. I'm hoping to make it out to some of those events this weekend. Okay. We also know right now Cruz and Grand Forks are doing some water main replacements, and because of that, they needed to shut down a lane. So 13th Avenue South from 9th Street to 10th Street, right in front of the Elks Pool, that's going to be down to just 1 lane. You can still drive through in both directions in that area, but that's going to be a 2-week-long project. And also right now, wanted to let you know about outdoor pool season coming to an end here in Fargo. A lot of its pools are going to be closing pretty soon. In fact, Fargo's North Side Pool, Southwest Recreational Pool, and Madison Pool and Splash Pad, they are all closing this Sunday. So very, very soon here. Island Park Pool, Davies Pool, those are going to be closing next Sunday. But you still will have a few chances to hit the pool again after they close for the season. So Davies Pool will reopen August 27th and 28th, and they'll also reopen over Labor Day weekend. So if you have kids who love going and jumping into those pools, maybe take them before the season comes to an end. So crazy to believe that summer is already coming to an end. It needs to slow down. Okay. We are getting a better look at voter turnout from Minnesota's primary elections. So, of course, the final counts still need to be certified. That's something that we like to stress all the time. But we do have the early numbers to talk about. So, Secretary of State's office says more than 18% of voters cast their ballot. So, more than 700,000 people voted for Republican and DFL gubernatorial candidates. Of course, guys, primary elections do typically have a much lower turnout than, for, say, general elections in November, of course. Which, in fact, Minnesota had a nation-leading turnout for the last 3 years. Just for some context, 3.5 million registered voters do live in Minnesota. Okay, also right now, we know that a Republican candidate for Minnesota's Senate is facing some legal action from the state GOP. We're talking about Edwin Hahn. He might be a familiar name to many of you. He was served with a summons and complaint from the party for continuing to represent himself as a local party officer, and then he also refused, allegedly, to return party property. So we're talking things like event supplies, promotional materials, organizational documents. Hahn was beaten in the primaries by Dan Bomer, for that state Senate seat in District 4. Okay, also hockey fans, UND hockey fans, you guys should listen to this. So we know 2 former UND hockey legends are set to take the ice for that one last shift this season. We're talking Ed Belfour, who was, of course, on the 1987 national championship team. He's going to be skating his last shift on November 18th. And then we also got Matt Green, who won 2 Stanley Cups with the LA Kings. No big deal, right? He's going to be doing his on January 21st. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is, UND does this, and they have been every year since 2018. They do this one more shift promotion, and they invite some former players back to do some laps around the ice during those starting lineups. So really cool. We finally know who's going to be doing that. Also new overnight, we're going to shift a little bit more towards our national news here. This is some good news. We're slowly getting there, guys. National average for gas is now officially less than $4. So as of this morning, we know the national average right now is at $3.99, which, sure, it's not that big of a difference, but hey, it's a sign that we're heading in the right direction, right? So we know that these gas prices have been going down nationwide in recent weeks, especially, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that demand for gas has also been dropping. Average price for gas in North Dakota right now, $3.94. Minnesota, you're looking at about $3.92. I'm a little bit surprised that it's cheaper in Minnesota. Maybe that's just me. These are just random thoughts that I'm having that I'm spitting out at you guys. But I would have expected North Dakota's gas to be a little bit cheaper than Minnesota. And granted, again, it's only about 2 cents, but still. Anyway, those are just my 2 cents. All right, let's talk about monkeypox. We know that's something that's hitting headlines a lot this week and really in recent weeks. But we do know, and we're hearing from the CDC, that monkeypox cases in the U.S. have actually now doubled, and that's in a span of less than 2 weeks. So right now, more than 10,000 people have the virus. Now, think less than 2 weeks ago, the country only had 5,000 cases. So it really did double in that short amount of time. First U.S. case, guys, was reported just less than 3 months ago. We know Wyoming is the only state right now that has no confirmed cases. New York, of course, has the most with 2,000, most populous city. And then we also did check the CDC's case map. North Dakota right now has 2 cases. Minnesota has 58. So I wanted to give you an update on our fight against monkeypox. We also know more than a dozen GOP governors want the president to drop a COVID travel restriction. So we know 17 Republican governors are a part of this effort, including North Dakota's very own Doug Burgum and South Dakota's own Kristi Noem. So they sent this letter to Biden, and it basically urges him to lift the vaccine mandate on international travel. They're saying that 72 countries have already dropped their testing and vaccination requirements, but then when it comes to adults traveling to the U.S., they're still required to show their proof of vaccination, and they claim that this restriction is negatively impacting the supply chain and hurting the U.S. economy. So we'll let you know if Biden responds to that letter. Okay, what do we got today? We got Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com. He is having kind of a busy day today. We got the Fargo Little Leaguers. They are coming on the field this morning. They are playing Davenport, Iowa at 10 this morning in an elimination game. Oh gosh, that reminds me of when I played sports back in the day. Elimination games were always hard and very intimidating. We also know NDSU's offensive coordinator is going to be joining the show to discuss some of the changes on offense this year, and what that side of the ball has in store for 2022. Crazy. Football season is just here, and I think it's just so crazy because our temperatures in the morning especially have been really matching with that. So I don't know, but all right, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo. Make sure you go join him on his show from 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com. All right, InForum.com. Speaking of, we do have a story to share with you. Here's the headline. We had this on First News this morning. It's called Red River Women's Clinic Opens at New Moorhead Location. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, say, we knew this was happening, or, you know, we already heard about this. Maybe you did, but for those of you who didn't, this one's for you. And, you know, if you've been following WDAY or, you know, maybe even just First News, you would know that this Red River Women's Clinic, right, which has been in Fargo for like 24 years now, since, or before Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, it raised more than $1 million on its GoFundMe page for this relocation. So kind of an interesting read. Again, this is for those of you who might not be too familiar with the matter, and if that's you, you can check that out right now, InForum.com. All right, before we go, you already know what's coming. I got the deal for you. So for 99 cents a month for your first 3 months, you can get an all-access pass to InForum.com. Here's how you get it. Go on your computer, type with your fingers, and type InForum.com/subscribe. And that's how you get the deal. All right, again, I don't know how long that deal lasts, so take advantage of it while you can, is what I always like to say and put out there. And also, we have news at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10, so make sure you come join our team there. Lots to talk about, I'm sure, on their newscast, and then we'll be back here tomorrow morning for your Friday from 5 to 7. All right, everybody, have a good day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.